Better known to you, I expect, from the timetable days by the initials WWA. It's a little over 50 years ago since I first turned up at DGS, actually in the summer term of 1927. I think you might well be surprised at the frequency with which I think of you. I could easily fill this tape with reminiscences of my early days at DGS. There was the occasion when Frank Fothergill took some boys to a camp in France, to a village called Avesnes-le-Sec, although it was very wet in fact, near Valenciennes. You visited the camp. You and Mrs. Taylor were touring in Germany and Austria in your car, and on your way back to England you called at the camp. I thought, and I still think, that it must have been quite a feat in map reading and navigation to have found that campsite. Incidentally, at that time, very few people toured on the continent, and indeed, a few years previously, the RAC office in Paris only had a staff of 2. Then you might recall a visit to the caves at Ingleton. You took some boys in your car, and I took some in mine. The owner of the cave, a man called Greenwell, ferried us independently across a deep pool, deep within the cave too. We had to kneel precariously on a very unstable sort of raft. You referred to Greenwell as Charon. To his, Greenwell's, great mystification. He had little knowledge of ancient mythology, obviously. I suppose the great thing you did, though, at DGS was to get rugger started. I can recall some years ago being in a bar at Corfe Castle in Dorset, chatting to one of the fellow guests there. I happened to mention that I came from Darlington, and he said, "Oh, Darlington, Darlington. They've got a jolly fine rugger team, you know, they're grammar school old boys." And when I said that I was at the grammar school, he promptly gave me a drink, and very fine. Of course, you had G.H. Fisher appointed as lower third form master following the death of F.W. Ward, in order to boost the rugger of the school. Good times, those when you were headmaster. You shared a secretary, a Miss Snowden, I think she was called, with Miss Harrison of the high school. Those were the days too when Alfie Dresser taught art part-time at DGS and the high school. And so I spoke to Tommy Henderson for music. The town was proud of its grammar school, with every justification. Now, all the very best of wishes, sir, from one who is proud to having served under you. The very best of wishes. Is that all right?